Hello snowboarders of the internet, I am your host TC and this is Top 5s. The only top 5 show in snowboarding that you come to see which is the next board you should get from that beginner to intermediate. On today's Top 5 I will be talking about the top 5 best intermediate boards for the 25-26 season. Number 5 is the Gnu Upgrade. So this is a brand new board in their line, which pretty much just took over for the Hyper, which they got rid of because that Pro is no longer with them anymore. So they made a few tweaks to it, and in my opinion, they made it better. So they added some stiffening agents in the board, so before when you were riding it, if you put any force to that edge, this board would just fold on you. That is not the case anymore. This board is great for intermediate riders because they could still put power to the edge on this thing and not totally overpower it. Where before, as I mentioned, you put some power to that edge, you try to carve that thing way too hard, you're getting just washed out. This one, not the case anymore. You still do have that C2 X camber profile in between your feet there, so you will have a little bit of a swivel point to it, but this board holds its edge a lot better than its predecessor did. So just keep that in mind. The pop on it is pretty decent, but it really excels when you're getting into that slush and into that fresh little bit of powder that you can find, pretty much that leftover stuff, where it floats really well. It's nice and easy to turn, so especially when you're just starting to get into tree riding, this board is amazing for it. Number 4 is the Yes All In. This board is great for pretty much doing everything. If you just need one board to pretty much take you to the powder, to the park, to really wherever, this is gonna be a great option for you. It is a little bit wider at the nose and the tail, so that's gonna help out with float, but you're not really sacrificing on maneuverability there. This board is still nice and easy to get edge to edge on, and it's pretty soft, so you don't have to worry about really throwing force into it to land or even just pop this thing. It will do both pretty well for you. Now, don't expect to go to the moon with it, but it's still gonna be able to get in the air. It is nice and maneuverable, so if you're learning those tree runs, you can easily wiggle through them with zero issue. This board is just a lot of fun. When I rode it last year, I had a great time on it, and it pretty much handled everything I threw in front of it. I didn't have to really focus on what I was doing when I was riding it. I can just pretty much let my snowboard instincts take over, and this board just handled everything I threw in front of it. When you're sliding this thing on rails, it's gonna handle it really well, especially because of how wide it is. When you're learning those board slides or just trying to really refine them, this board is great for that because you're not gonna have just a narrow board that if you kind of edge in a little bit, it's gonna bite. This board, a little bit wider, so you don't really have to deal with it as much, or really just worry about it, I should say. Number 3, the Capita Indoor Survival. This board is a lot of fun, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or even an advanced rider. Anybody can really get on this thing, but where it's really gonna shine is for that intermediate rider, where they added some tentinel to this board, where it gives it a little bit more rigidity underfoot because you don't have the most aggressive camber profile to it. It's quite a low camber with a flat section on the contact points there, so it makes it nice and maneuverable for you, but you're gonna get a little bit more rigidity when you're trying to just carve this thing all mountain, or even just load this thing up to ollie. It's gonna return a little bit extra for you. So instead of giving it a super high aggressive camber point with no rocker on the nose and tail, they did this to remedy pretty much that aggressiveness and just make it a little bit more user-friendly, which it is. This board isn't strictly designed to be just ridden in the park. You can take this thing on groomers, ride it all mountain, and pretty much have a good time with it. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be the fastest, most aggressive board out there for all mountain riding, but you can still do it. I mean, it pretty much is a good mixture of park and all mountain. So if you're in that intermediate category that you just need something to be able to do both, this is gonna be a great option for you. While I have you here, you might as well like, subscribe, click that bell, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss any of our scheduled programming. Number 2, the Warden. So this board did get a slight redesign and a reshape to it this year, but honestly, I think that makes it a little bit better, where the nose and the tail are a little bit more snappy, but you still have that rocker in them. So getting edge to edge on this thing is nice and smooth and pretty easy. It really excels on those medium carves, which is primarily what you're gonna be doing if you're that intermediate rider. This thing does have some nice pop rods in it, so it will help you get up in the air, but it's not gonna blast you to the moon or anything like that. It feels nice and controlled. Because there is some rocker on the nose and the tail, it just makes it a little bit smooth and easier to load it up, where you're not just totally shifting all your weight and trying to spring yourself forward. It's not really like that. It's gonna be nice and mellow. I would say overall this board is pretty much just in the middle of the road for everything when it comes to aggressiveness, carving, and pretty much buttering, where you can do everything on it, but you don't have to really focus about doing everything on it. So it's nice and easy to ride, but you can still take it to that next level with this board. Honorable mentions. Remember, these are all great options for intermediate riders. They just weren't able to crack our top 5 this year. The first honorable mention is the Ride Moderator. You can see it over my shoulder right here. This board is really good for that intermediate rider, especially that person that's only gonna ride one direction. Since it is a directional board, it definitely handles that way better than riding switch. It might be a little wonky for you, but after you do it a couple times, it'll feel pretty natural. But overall, this board does rip. It is nice and damp. It turns really fast because it does have that slim wall on it, and you can kind of pretty much like shift that weight a little bit back more towards the tail and really use that tail to power through carves. The second honorable mention is the Gnu Antigravity. This board is great. It feels like the little brother to the banked country, where it's just a little bit more forgiving. It's not so back foot dominant. You can really ride this thing underneath your feet and have a great time. There is a pretty decent pop to it, so don't let that crazy camber profile fool you. This thing will hold up it pretty much in anything. And the final honorable mention is going to be the K2 Gateway Pop. Similar to just the regular Gateway, where it's nice and easy to ride, this one is gonna just be a little bit more aggressive, where they put some carbon running from the nose to the tail just to give you a little bit extra pop. That's why it's in the name. This board has a little bit more of a snappy feeling to it, where you can really use it to spring in and out of turns there, and it's just nice and comfortable. Remember, these are all great viable options. They just weren't able to crack our top 5 this year. If you're looking for another way to get involved in the Angry Snowboarder community, head on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP. What is it, you might ask? Sure, I could explain it here, but we have a great video over there getting into it really in depth. And the number 1 intermediate snowboard for the 25-26 season is going to be the Jones Frontier 2.0. So this board got a total redesign, where before it was a directional twin, now it's just straight up directional. They added a little bit more spooning in the nose, which is kind of similar to the Tweaker and to the Hovercraft, where they've changed the game a little bit with it, and it's absolutely awesome. Where on this board, it definitely carves better, it floats better, and it has better pop to it. Now, this board is definitely great for intermediate riders because it's still on that pretty much middle of the road flex to it, maybe even slightly softer, but this thing will hold up so much better. The edge hold on this board is a lot better than it used to be, where the board was all right before, now it's great. This thing will hold really well, super nimble in the trees, and is nice and easy to just get up when you're in that fresh snow and not have to worry about it trying to submarine on you. Totally a great redesign, and I highly recommend it if you're in the market for that intermediate board. As always, guys, I've been your host TC, and this has been the top 5 intermediate snowboards for the 25-26 season. If you guys are in the market for a new snowboard and you're looking to pick one of these up, feel free to leave a comment down below on which one you're picking up and why.